The high-ranking officer beams with genuine happiness. Danrock steps forward and solemnly says, "Welcome to the bridge, Lord Captain. Like the rest of the crew, we are overjoyed by your return and thank the Emperor for it." The crew stares in awe and terror at the giant towering over the crowd. Some make the sign of the Aquila on their chests. Others collapse to their knees with a prayer to the God Emperor on their lips. This wave of pious shock does not seem to discompose Ulfar in the slightest. He just chuckles into his beard and glances around curiously. Yeah, he's used to it. It's probably been a while since he's been in real space and not, you know, a prisoner of the Xenos. But Space Marines live to be like multi-hundred years. So I'm sure he's been around long enough to be very used to this. Marjai is still with us. Hadn't considered that, but yep. Marjai's presence alone is enough to elicit gasps of dismay and whispers from the crowd. The Drukhari ignores all Mon-Ki reactions to his person and surveys the ship bridge, examining every detail with ostentatiously cool interest. His markedly casual posture is belied by the subtle and unusual tension in his body. I still don't know if I want Marjai around long term. While I don't like getting rid of companions because I want to see their stories and how they play out, I would be shocked if he has some redemption arc where we end up finding him to be a useful person for our empire, or for our House von Valencius. Shireen, light of my eyes, I am overjoyed to see you among us once more. Truly, the Exalted One is merciful for showing you the way back home. I hope all the Ashmags who left us to languish without our Lord Captain have already become food for the warped demons. I mean, they kind of did. We did sick a bunch of demons on them. Domin Ignatius, the flagship without you was like a body without a heart. Its blood froze in its veins. We welcome your return and stand ready to serve. Cabela devours you with her eyes, anxiety writ large on her usually impenetrable face. As your shadow, I must personally make sure you are well, Domin. Wait for me in your quarters. Lord Captain, I'm so glad to see you. I nearly lost it when you up and disappeared on me. I was getting by on stimulants and recaf. I barely slept. Also, I could keep listening to the whispers for any clue on how to find you. The only other time I felt so powerless was when Lady Theodora... She stops. Pardon me, Lord Captain. I'm talking nonsense. Sister Argenta greets you with burning eyes. Welcome back, Road Trader. No trial could break the will of the Emperor's chosen, or stop him from returning to those who have put their hopes in him. First off, how much do you know about my abduction? Where's my ship been all this time? Enough empty talk. Your master is waiting for a proper celebration. Wow. It's quite enough fawning and fussing. I wish to return to my duties immediately. Now, first off, how much do you know about my abduction? Not much, Lord Captain. All contact with your party was lost shortly after the supposed pirates boarded the ship and abducted your companion's kinpeople. We immediately sent shuttles with boarding parties to your aid, but we didn't find anyone on the ship save for the crew, all of whom had either been butchered or driven insane. Iliad's expression is inscrutable, but her eyes are fixed on you and you alone. Since your lordship's body was never recovered, we hoped against hope that you were still alive. Alas, even our most alert augur operatives never spotted anything suspicious, and thus our ignominious failure to put you in dire peril. Dare we inquire what happened, your lordship? Iliad helped the Drukhari abduct me and take me to Komorra. I mean, true statement, but does not paint her in a very good light. I'm glad you realized you were to blame for my capture. You've not earned the right to hear about my adventures. Wow. Lie, my loyal servants. The accursed Xenos tried to take your leader from you, but the plan has failed. I am once again with you. Are you with me? That doesn't feel like a lie. They tried to take us from them. They succeeded at that part, but overall their plan failed and we're once more here. It does not matter. The topic of my disappearance is closed. I mean, this is true. It paints her in a very bad light because I think she recognized her mistake right afterwards and then worked hard to help us get out of there. But yes, Iliad helped the Drukhari abduct me. Like, I like the rest of the sentence, that we were abducted by Drukhari and taken to Komorra. I think telling The ship as a whole would be bad, but telling the top leaders of our group that we were abducted by Drukhari and taken to Komorrah is a fine statement. And yeah, painting Irliet in a bit of a bad light is probably not great, but it's not the worst, unless someone immediately turns around and shoots her. Hostile stares fix on Irliet, and a spiteful whisper whips through the air. Xenos scum! Yeah. Sorry. Where's my ship been all this time? The officers' council decided to take the ship to Footfall, where one can hear the gossip of the entire expanse. Our agents tirelessly searched for information about your lordship. Had we heard even a whisper of where you were imprisoned, we would have immediately launched a rescue expedition. While you were absent, Lord Captain, we made every effort to find you. That resulted in a number of modifications to the ship that have significantly upgraded it. Well, that's nice. Thanks to a favorable deal secured by the esteemed High Factotum, the ship is now equipped with state-of-the-art auger systems and direction finders from Kiava Gamma. There was a quest we were waiting on of getting better augers that I kept wondering what it would take to allow us to complete that quest. This is probably what it was. Enough empty talk. I think a celebration is fine before we immediately go back to our duties. Enough empty talk. Your master is waiting for a proper celebration. We begin at once, your lordship. Glory to the rogue trader. Glory to House von Valencius. Your subject's triumphant roar sends a tremor through the bridge. It is as though the ship itself is greeting its long-lost owner. The factotum smacks his lips awkwardly and adds in a quieter voice, Lord Captain, the senior officers will report to you shortly. In your absence, we received a number of astropathic messages and dispatches that demand your attention. That's not surprising. Ah, Namos. A group of servitors suddenly stirs, their movements frighteningly identical even for automatons. They stare at you and say in perfect unison, Hello, Nomos, have come to welcome you back. We sense that a great deed has been done, a vivid imprint on existence. You did something very important. What was it? I triumphed over the enemies of humanity by pitting the archenemy's blight against that of the Xenos. One day, they will all fall before the sacred flame. For now, we can be satisfied with having enemies of Terra destroy one another. The portrait seems ominous. Well, Namos is an AI. So I don't know what I would expect for a portrait to represent them. I guess we don't technically know that they're an AI. But I'm guessing they're an AI. Did Nomos say it correctly? The servitor chorus, which sounds as a single voice, falls silent. Nomos appears to be waiting for your response in eager anticipation. Yeah, I think you've said it correctly. I'm glad that you're learning to understand me, Nomos. Your curiosity deserves approval. A servant should strive to understand their master. Your pointless questions are not worth my time. Yeah, your curiosity deserves approval. A servant should strive to understand their master. Nomos have a poor understanding of the concept of servitude. We must reflect. The chorus of servitors pause, as if the controlling entity is busy thinking. We must go now. We will come to speak with you later. Another pause follows, so long that the silence becomes more piercing than a scream. Then the servitors finally break it. We are glad to see order restored, and the head of the dynasty resume his reign. We were concerned about you and your well-being. One can detect with the naked eye the moment when Nomos leaves the bridge. The servitors stop moving in sync and slowly shuffle off to their posts. Hi, Cabela. Why are you pointing a sword at me? Okay. Cabela, having stopped into your chambers, stares at you with eyes wide and brimming with emotion. Doman! A moment later, her hand touches your face. Ignatius! I'm here, my love. We can kiss her. We can embrace her. That trial is behind us now. Never again shall we part. Or just... calm down, I'm fine, see? We'll kiss her. I'm here, my love. Everything's fine. She melts into you in your embrace, her trembling touches expressing her feelings better than any words could. She releases you and looks into your eyes with a mixture of longing and relief. I knew you were alive. I saw your shadow in the labyrinth, looking for a way out, meandering in the dark, yet still guided towards salvation by his light. And now you're here, Dom Ignatius. She slowly pulls away. Her tender expression gives way to something else, pain, despair. Right here, where your blade rested in its sheath, pointless and useless. That's fair. She's supposed to be our shadow protecting us, and we left her behind on that mission. Please don't. No one could have foreseen what would happen. We are alive and we are together. Nothing else matters. I can't argue with that. You failed in your duty to protect me. Harsh. I don't think she would like the no one could have foreseen because she has the tarot cards that do let her see some aspects of the future. So, there's a lot of cold options you can say. I don't say them because they're terrible, but the game gives you the choice to just be brutal. We are alive and we are together. Nothing else matters. Cabela clenches her fists, her knuckles turning white. It does matter. It matters that I, your shadow, your blade, could do nothing to stop the threat. Cabela hesitates a moment before finding the will to speak. On the day that you and I bonded in the labyrinth, something upset the order of things. All that the Vizier taught me, all that makes me what I am. And here we are, reaping the fruits of my irresolution, my weakness. Not but his providence saved you from falling to an unrighteous death. So she's blaming herself because we have been pushing her towards being less rote and more emotional, like being more of a person. And now she's feeling that she turned from what she was taught, and that's what led to this. I don't want her to go back to just being an emotionless machine of killing. So we're going to have to talk her out of that. What are you trying to say? Whatever you're going through, we'll face it together. You're just overreacting. I'm waiting to hear how you intend to redeem your faults. Some of these statements are just crazy. What are you trying to say? Cabela looks at you without blinking. The tenants demand irreproachable service. Only thus are we able to read hearts and see threads. This blood-spun web will not accept a failure. Whatever you're going through, we will face it together. Cabela lets out a bitter chuckle. Together? You have no notion of what it's like when errant thoughts and emotions obscure your inner sight. Your world is full of transitory passions. It is woven from them. It lives through them, without having to care about any thread other than your own, including mine. Perhaps our bond is not as heavy a burden on your heart as it is on mine, Dom Ignatius. Cabela licks her lips as they curl into a malicious smile. After all, I'm not the only one you have bonded with. So there's been a couple of hints that say that we are bonded to Irliet. But I thought I've been avoiding all of the direct romance choices. But this seems to be saying that Cabela thinks that we are in a romance with someone, likely Irliet. Oops. Yeah, apparently we are romancing two people. Certainly wasn't my intent. I have been kind to Irliet. Vil Irliet is a spawn of heresy, and yet you act as if you and the Xenos are close. This perversion born of whim, this unnatural tolerance, I fail to understand. Is it the Eldari's doing, or a shortcoming of your own soul? Yeah, I get where you're coming from, and I can't say you're wrong. Cabela speaks in the cold voice of a spinner of death. The web demands that we create a distance between us. I cannot be your blade so long as thoughts and worries of another kind shroud my path through the labyrinth. Despite her tone and her words, you see longing in her eyes and a glimmer of hope. Am I to understand that you cannot handle your own problems? I want to be with you no matter what. Touch her hand. I need you, not a blade of the web. Please don't leave me. Alright, let's pretend that there was never anything between us. I'm definitely not going to go with 1 or 4. Either I want to be with you no matter what, or I need you, not a blade of the web. I don't know how she would take that, because she sees herself as a blade of the web. but we do want her to be more than that. Or as she probably sees it now, less than that. I mean, I wish there was an option to be like, hey, we're not romancing Iliad. She's part of my crew. I'm letting her stay here because she's helpful, like all the rest of the members of my crew, but I'm not romancing her. Yeah, we're gonna go with the touch her hand. I need you, not a blade of the web. Please, don't leave me. A single touch shatters Cabela's facade of cold aloofness. She lets out a painful moan and interweaves her fingers with yours. Dom Ignatius, I was hoping you'd be stronger than me. I need to be alone to understand who I am with you. Perhaps I should try on a different mask for a time and see how well it fits me. Cabela falls silent. Slowly, as if pushing through water, she withdraws from your arms and turns away. I don't know if that was necessarily a good outcome or not, but it was certainly an outcome. I don't recognize you. Oh, that's the high factotum. Okay. I guess the angle just didn't make it obvious who he was to me for some reason. Oh well. Your lordship, I must report highly compromising information about a member of your retinue, namely Mistress Jai Hadari, who it turns out is nothing of the sort, but a commoner, a fugitive from the law, and a deserter of the Imperial Guard. I have solid evidence to prove it. Yeah, it's been... A lot of me has suspected that who she claims to be is a lies. When she's like, oh yeah, I'm the 11th child or whatever of super awesome nobility, but far too far away from here, so you've never heard of them. It felt very like Aladdin to me, where he's just like, I'm a prince of a place you've never heard of. Just like, you're probably just a commoner who has made up this whole facade. So I'm not surprised. A deserter of the Imperial Guard isn't ideal. This evidence had better be incontrovertible. I want to know the details. How did you come to know of this? I wish to see Jai Hadari. We have something to discuss. Or drop this, Danrock. Forget what you know. Yeah. What's the evidence? I guess I want to know the details. It's probably the best place to start. I may have overlooked some nuances, but I have solid evidence that the person whom we presently know as Jai Hadari served in the 19th Efreet Regiment and was identified as the perpetrator of numerous instances of theft and smuggling, as well as desertion. Well, that's not great. And this individual is not of noble birth, but of the lowest origins. How did you come to know this? In your lordship's absence, the burden of watching over the dynasty's treasury fell upon my shoulders. I deemed Jai Hadari the likeliest threat to your dynasty's material security. I had my people conduct an investigation, and they uncovered a past connection between Hadari and an individual by the name of Mercy, a highly influential figure in the Casablanca mission, with a dangerous reputation. Fearing that the predatory interests of the Casablanca would pose a threat to your coffers, I began my own investigation. It was entirely reasonable to suspect collusion of some kind between Hadari and Mercy, and so my suspicions were confirmed. The two were connected. It was from Mercy's associates that I acquired the compromising intelligence on Hadari. I think Mercy... When we went to Jai Hadari's party, seems like ages ago, on Footfall, was Mercy the person from Casablanca who came there to give her a message? And then we sort of conned him into giving her a gift? I think so. Yeah, the evidence better be incontrovertible. The factotum bows and holds out a data slate to you. It's all here, your lordship. Official records from the administratum, attestations from the Departamento Munitorum, and more, much more besides. I wish to see Jai Hadari. We have something to discuss. Oh, we're doing this while he's standing here. That's going to be awkward. I was thinking more of a private conversation. But okay. Shop me, did you little wannabe questor? Jai's voice and bearing undergo a stark transformation. Biting soldier slang cuts through her typically gentle speech. Don't miss a thing, your servants, Ignatius. And they're sneaky as, too. They'll climb up a grok's arse to find out what they want to know. I think we need to talk about your past. Only if this scum slings his hook. Jai nods at the now much paler Danrock. Okay, so we are going to get a private conversation.
Your lordship, ask away. I'll tell it like it is. I'm not going to try to wriggle out of it.
With a weary sigh, Jai gives you a hard stare. So tell me your real story.
So what do you want to hear, Shireen? A children's tale about a beautiful princess? A ballad about a queen of thieves? How about a new story, Shireen? Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived on a sand-covered lump of rock, and the core of that rock contained untold riches for servants of the Imperium. The girl scraped out those riches with her little hands, breaking her back and coughing up her lungs, on behalf of people who had never clapped eyes upon her, and who would never know her name. She did this every day until she turned 16, and then...
Jai cringes at her own words, and with all the crudeness of a veteran soldier, spits on the floor. Huh.
Then his servants came and drafted the girl into the 19th Ifrit Regiment. Can you imagine? Of course, the regiment was wiped out on its first sortie. But the girl survived. The Exalted One protects. So what was next? Years serving in the Astra Militarum, just a shitload of hard labor, and fighting, and deals, and shady connections, and new opportunities.
Jai closes her eyes, letting the memories carry her back through the years. Yeah, the drafting of worlds is a common thing in 40k, but it is kind of awful for the individuals. Because drafted guardsmen are put on, front of the line as just a meat grinder to slow down enemies, while the better equipped and better trained fighters actually do the work behind those meat grinder lines. So the fact that her entire regiment got wiped out and she managed to survive, I'm curious how she survived when everyone else was gone. Was she in hiding? Had she stolen some useful things that caused other people or their mission to fail, but gave her an advantage? Don't know.
But everything in this world ends sooner or later, Shireen. The now not-so-little girl went and fell in with the Kasbalika. She saved up a little gold, and she even indulged in excess from time to time, until living the good life almost cost the little girl her head after her patrons got caught in an internal investigation between the Officio Prefectus and Departamento Munitorum.
Okay. I don't know who the Officio Prefectus is. Departamento Munitorum is probably something to do with guns, given the name. By this point, you were out of the guard, because you fell in with the Casabolica. So I assume you're not in the guard at this point. You're living probably on football? Just trying to put together all of the details. Auditors? It could be. Yeah.
So the girl ran as fast as her little legs could carry her, until her eyes and the beams of fortune brought her to the Expanse. A shitty story, all things considered, Shireen.
Yeah. Wish I had a bit more details of exactly how all of this connected. Because it could be that the Casabolica, it's a crime syndicate based out of Footfall, but maybe... No, Casabolica is everywhere. There's a Footfall chapter, but it's founded in the Calixtus sector. Okay. So, potentially, while she was still in the guards, she fell in with the Casabolica. I didn't realize it was that big. I thought it was just a local crime gang here in the Koronus Expanse. So potentially she's still a guard at this point, but helping out the Casabolica. That's probably the robbing, thieving in the guard that the high factotum mentioned, which eventually may have led to auditing. And so she ran and eventually got to the Expanse. And then probably rejoined the Casabalica here on footfall. I knew you're no princess. I mean, I suspected. Do you have any family? So you used to be in the Imperial Guard. Where did you learn to read and write? Interesting question. Is Chai your real name at least? Anything you did not lie to me about? What I've heard, the thought of keeping you by my side makes me sick. Remove yourself from my presence. We're keeping a couple of xenos. We're definitely going to keep her. Kill, you'll answer for everything you've done. I mean, we don't actually ever use her in our party, so it doesn't really matter. Well, I knew you were no princess.
Oh, really, Sherry? And there I thought you were quite ready to believe my time-honed thespian performance.
No, it felt too fake. Do you have a family?
The folks on Footfall are my only family, Sherry. The trickster twins and the rest of the rabble, plain talking and loyal as dogs. And sometimes as dull as the pommel of a worn-out blade.
Jai gives it a different shrug. Okay. So you used to be in the Imperial Guard?
Corporal Haidari reporting for duty, sir. I've had enough of the Astra Militarum shit to last a lifetime, Sherry. And my body's collected enough souvenirs from run-ins with xenos and heretics to last 2 lifetimes. Except, when it comes to the Guard, there's no such thing as used to be. That wretched life sank its claws into me good. But that also means I remember what it's like to be a small, shaking, insignificant pawn. And that's why I appreciate what I have now all the more.
Jai salutes you, but the silly play acting only sours her mood. How did you get involved with the Casabalica?
What? You think it's difficult? Once me and my fellow guardsmen snuck into the upper city in search of a good watering hole where the high and mighty of that world congregated. Another time, our regiment was sent to defend the tallest spires on a hive world. And I had an epiphany. I saw how the other half lives. And by half, I mean the ones born with a diamond spoon in their mouth instead of an entrenching shovel rammed up their arse.
Yeah. The difference between the upper class and low class in 40k is extreme.
My eyes were open to the truth, Shireen. The Imperium is full of opportunities, even for people like myself. The trick is knowing whose palms to grease, whose boots to lick, whose throat to squeeze, and whose arses to kick. I was very popular with everyone in the Guard Command, you see. I'd procure things for them, whatever they wanted. And so the Casabalica took notice.
So you are a deserter as well?
You know, Shireen, I could still be bouncing around from one world to another, holed up on tired old ships with only venal grunts for company, if I hadn't decided I wanted more for my life. I accepted a shipment from the Casabalica of certain chemicals. You know, for carnal pleasures and the like. Some bigwig was throwing a party to celebrate his 5th decade in the service.
Okay.
And that's when I caught the attention of the newly arrived commissar. I was rummaging through the pockets of Astra Militarum with one hand and shoveling the Casabalican cargo with the other. You can imagine what would have happened to my head had the commissar not started with my higher-ranked patrons.
Okay. Jai draws a thumb across her metallic throat and chuckles bitterly. Yeah, commissars are not usually known for forgiveness, so you just had to run. I mean, that's kind of what happens. You were some of the dissent in the regiment. If you were... how did you phrase it? Rummaging in the pockets of an Astra Militarum with one hand. Yeah. If you were stealing from the Astra Militarum, you would have been killed. That explains the lung implant, but what about the hand?
It was orcs. Not everything I say is a lie, Shireen.
Jai makes a frustrated gesture. Okay, I see.
Whoop the fu- Never mind.
Who is this Mercy that Danrock has accused you of associating with?
We knew each other once. He helped me make the move to the Expanse and establish my first connections. But that's an old story I prefer not to poke at if I can help it. Things are good in my life now, and I don't need mercy.
About your new persona.
Are you worried I'm going to start spitting on the deck and shriveling your officers' ears with my foul tongue? Don't be, Shireen. I much prefer being seen as a princess rather than a deserter. I'll continue to play the part in front of the others, but you wanted to talk frankly, so I've dropped the act.
Yeah, so we've got a choice of get out of my presence or kill her, but I think we're just going to say, I think we've covered everything, return to your duties. I see no need. As a rogue trader, I have the authority to take anyone of use and use them however I need. And so it's like, okay, yeah, she has a history of crime and whatnot, but she's useful to me, so she's part of my retinue. And the fact that, yeah, the Astra Militarum probably wants her to suffer or be killed or whatever for desertion and theft doesn't really matter because she's of use to a rogue trader. So, I think we've covered everything. Return to your duties.
Sir, yes, sir. Your lordship, Shireen. I'll be here, all primed and ready to go.
Jai's lips curl into a faint smile now that the seal of silence that has shackled them for years has finally been broken. Denmark adjusts his jacket before addressing you. Now then, Lord Captain, shall we get to business? We have a number of items to go over. The Expanse is in flames, your lordship. Squadrons of and smaller groups of despicable Drukhari raid our systems. The cult of the Final Dawn has emerged in full force, wreaking havoc everywhere. We've heard rumors of the fall of Santiel's pride, House Corda's world, an outrageous sacrilege, given how abundant and inexpensive Promethium is there. Yeah, that's the world that we heard the sun had been stolen just recently. Strife has broken out between House Winterscale and House Corda. Chaos reigns everywhere. Only the esteemed Lord Inquisitor is trying to fight it, concentrating all available forces at Footfall to draw them into a fist that will smash the rampant heretics and xenos vermin. What kind of xenos are attacking the Expanse? I assume it's mainly Drukhari. Drukhari, your lordship. Their squadrons, both large and small, are invading the Expanse, unleashing carnage on planets, taking captives by the thousands and attacking ships. It is as if something has poked their nest, if you will, and now they are lashing out. Yeah, I might have poked a bit of a nest. Sorry. How fare the worlds of my dynasty? The heretics' malicious acts make it difficult to maintain astropathic contact with the colonies. The cult of the Final Dawn strikes everywhere, and their sleeper agents are active on every planet. On Vibo 6, a mutiny was crushed after a group of newly arrived prisoners succumbed to blasphemous propaganda, but other worlds stand firm against the onslaught of the enemies of humanity and do not succumb to their pernicious influence. So Xavier Calcazar is leading the defense. Exactly. The esteemed Lord Inquisitor Calcazar has declared himself Warden of the Koronus Expanse and issued orders to requisition troops. He has made Footfall his base of operations, as it was the most logically convenient point. From there, his fleet strikes throughout the Expanse, destroying the forces of the Cult of the Final Dawn and the abominable Drukhari. He may be all that currently stands in the way of the Expanse being reduced to ashes. When heretics laid siege to Euphrates II, the hallowed forge of the Cognizant's fleet, the Lord Inquisitor sent an enormous force, and they and the explorator squadrons recalled from the front lines stand together against the heretics in the battle for the sacred planet. What is the source of strife between Incendia and Caligos? When the esteemed Lord Inquisitor called upon the rogue traders to join his forces, her ladyship Incendia Corda heeded the summons, while his lordship Caligos Winterscale ignored it. Rumor has it that his refusal was defiant in manner, and served as a pretext for Lady Corda to declare war on House Winterscale. Yeah, so Lady Corda, from what we saw, is extremely dogmatic. And Winterscale is somewhere between iconoclast and heretical. I don't know if he actually goes to heresy, like that level, but he was just like, oh yeah, I basically ignored all of my duties as a rogue trader because I enjoy going hunting. And it's like, what? Just his love of violence and hunting and bloody sport feels like it could be reaching towards the chaos god of, blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. I don't know. Or maybe he's just not caring about his duties. Hard to say at this point, but it's understandable that Lady Corda, being very dogmatic, would be upset by him. Winterscale's ships are being hunted and his worlds occupied under the pretense of compelling them to submit to the Imperial Creed. Surprisingly, for all of his love of fighting, Winterscale is in no hurry to defend his domain. According to intercepted astropathic messages, he and his retinue are currently on Quetzal Temur hunting down a xenos fleet, Eldari by all appearances. So he's ignoring his worlds to hunt xenos because he just loves fighting, and she's occupying his worlds to try and get them back in line with the Imperial Creed. Cool. Is there anything else I should know? The factotum lowers his head in thought. There have been other minor developments. If you so wish, I will gladly bring you up to speed on the bridge. I would not want to take any time away from this occasion. Thank you for your report. Lord Captain, Abelard bows his head. Allow me to make a request, a personal one. While you were away, the choirmaster received an astropathic message from Dargonus. It concerns my family. The Rosarians have been accused of treason against House von Valencius. What? How is that possible? Or your family have shown their true colors at last? No. How is that possible? I cannot comprehend it. The seneschal shakes his head helplessly. The Rosarians have served the Rogue Trader dynasty loyally for generations. This is hard to admit, but the news has come as a crushing blow. The accusations were leveled by or on behalf of the Drive Stems. We don't trust the Drive Stems. He was a bit sketchy. The governing house. Under normal circumstances, the investigation would not have required your involvement, and my entire family would have been... But being of noble stock, the Rosarians are entitled, under an ancient custom, to petition for a rogue trader's personal protection once in a generation. Your personal protection, Lord Captain. Abelard raises his gaze to you. Do not deny us that honor, I implore you. Abelard, what if your family is guilty? Tell the choirmaster to send a message to Dargonus saying I will personally take part in this investigation. Or, I'm sorry, Abelard, I refuse to offer House Rosarian my protection. Abelard, what if your family is guilty? Then the traitors will accept their due punishment. I have never relied on my position as an immunity guarantee, and I will not even try to sway your decision, as long as it is fair and balanced. All right, tell the choirmaster to send a message to Dargonus saying I will personally take part in the investigation. Abelard breathes a sigh of relief and seems to grow an inch or two taller. It will be done, Lord Captain. So much is happening now that we've gotten back to our ship. Adira hurriedly enters his study, shuffling and hunching her shoulders. She looks haggard. There are bags under her eyes, her hair is disheveled, and her hands quiver slightly every few moments. With some effort, she focuses her eyes on you and forces a crooked smile. Thank you for agreeing to hear me out, Lord Captain. Here's the deal. After all that happened recently, the voices in my head suddenly flared up and started gabbling worse than before. Don't get the wrong idea, I'm handling them just fine, but I think I know of a way I can get them to settle down a bit. I keep having the same vision over and over again. I'm walking down a corridor, and there's this door at the end, and I just know that right behind that door is blissful silence. All I've got to do is reach out and open it. So I touch it with my fingers. I can feel the cold, rough metal, and then I suddenly snap out of it, and always find myself staring at a wall in some compartment or other. I look behind me, and all the doors on the way are open, but I have no memory of how I got there. That's not sounding good. Particularly when she described... We told her what hearing voices was like for her, like her divination, and she described it as a door that she opens just a tiny crack so that she can hear the whispers on the other side, because if she opens it too far, she'll go mad to the noise. For her to have a dream repeatedly saying she needs to find a door that if she opens it, she's sure it'll give her silence. It's like, Plus, she's already lost herself to chaos once, where a demon with the appearance of Theodora commanded her to do something. I don't remember. It brought a bunch of demons that we had to fight our way through. And everyone was telling me to just kill her. But we gave her another chance because that's how I roll. And now she's having a bunch of visions and wanting to just open up the door, whatever door it is. It's like, I don't know if I trust this. Lord Captain, I'll cut to the chase. Please, help me find that door. I'm not joking. This is a matter of life and death. My gut tells me it's my last chance to deal with my powers. And if I don't... She trails off. Before I make my decision, I have questions to ask you. We'll find the door. I give you my word. We have to find that door. You are too unstable. Somewhat true. Out of the question, I will not indulge your sorcerer's visions. Before I make my decision, I have questions to ask you. Absolutely, Lord Captain. Ask me anything, and I'll try my best to answer. What do you think is behind the door? I have no idea. Maybe it's some incredible implant from the tech priest's secret stores. Or, I don't know, a serum kept in the Inquisition's vault? There's such thing as archaeotech, right? Plenty of it lying around. Maybe some of it could help me. Adira is trying to maintain a facade of confidence while simultaneously pulling at a hangnail so hard her finger begins to bleed. Do your visions contain any clues on where to start looking? Vague ones, as usual. I think I can hear the muffled cries of some weird birds, and my head is sweating like it's somewhere hot. I'm surrounded by rockcrete, your everyday Imperium stuff, except it reeks of burnt flesh, fried cables, and chemicals. Sorry, that's about it. Nothing more concrete, but I think if we get close enough, I'll sense it immediately. Is the door you described similar to the door your whispers come from? See, that's what I'm saying. No? Well, I don't know. It feels different. The one from the vision feels very, I don't know, real. I can even touch it. It's definitely not an illusion. It really does exist somewhere. And trust me, neither of us wants to open the other door, the whispering one. I find it difficult to believe that suppressing your abilities is safe. I mean, depending, it definitely could be safe. Because she's an unsanctioned psyker, which means she's not fully in, well, no psyker's fully in control, but she's less in control than a sanctioned psyker would be. What if it's a trap? No way, it can't be. Whatever, I'll go in alone if you like. Just please help me get there. I'm gonna say this just to see what the dialogue goes. The question seems strange, or I guess statement. I find it difficult to believe that suppressing your abilities is safe. Adira snorts. Oh, it's really, really not. I'm sure you've heard stories about how people tried to lock psykers' abilities away for good, and how those psykers would then eventually go insane and explode into little pieces. But if there's a way, no, not to shut my door completely, but to make it so tiny little crack remains, now that's a different story. I can just feel it. If we find this thing, whatever it is, it'll all be alright. I have no more questions. Adira nods and looks at you anxiously. We'll find the door. I give you my word. I don't know if I'm going to give a word that I will allow you to open it. Once we find it, then we'll need to rethink this. But yeah, I'll do what I can to find the door. Some of the darkness in Adira's eyes clears and her smile widens slightly. Thank you, Lord Captain. I knew you wouldn't leave me in a bind. As soon as I sense we're close, I'll let you know right away. The Exalted One blesses the House of Von Valencius for your largesse of spirit, Shireen, and thank you for deigning to speak with me. Jai turns unusually hesitant, now tentatively choosing the words that only a moment ago rolled off her tongue in an uninterrupted cascade. Here's the thing, Shireen. My network of trade representatives has been stretched a little too thin recently. Like a chiffon dress on a whore. Supplies are all over the place. Orders aren't being filled. Clients are kicking off, and not without reason. The revenue's plummeting. And if that wasn't bad enough, my guys running things from Footfall have been incommunicado recently, and an astropathic message has finally come in to tell me why. Some ashmag, or ashmags, thrown to smite them, has captured my gang, and they're threatening to kill every last one of those hard-grafting whelps if I don't do what they want. And they only want one thing, my mercantum tabula officiale, in exchange for my gang's lives. Jai tosses her thick mane of hair and grits her teeth, looking more vicious than you have ever seen her. But I'm not giving up my certificate for anything, and nor am I going to leave my guys high and dry. That's why I'm begging for your help and protection, Shireen. If I have to step into a cage of hyenas, I'd rather do it with a lion at my side. Tolman did not say who sent the message. Shireen, you know yourself that all this astropathic chit-chat is nothing but a stream of images, thoughts and intentions, nothing concrete. But I don't need the name of this sender. I already know it. I can smell Falco's stench all over this, or else it's the Vladim's doing. This is just that damned Ashmag style. Aji, take him. Could be a bluff. It's probably not. If she's not hearing from her people, then likely they are captured. It could, Shireen, but I've been missing the familiar stench of the docks and darling Octi in her bar, and even the stony gaze of the Exalted One that watches over you wherever you are on footfall. I'm homesick, you see? The tender smile vanishes from Jai's face, leaving a nakedly bleak expression behind. The Exalted One helps those who help themselves, Shireen, and I don't want to risk the lives of my people. Why should I help you? It seems you have reached the limit of your abilities. That's harsh. When we reach footfall, I'll help with your associates. I've had enough of your problems, Jai. Deal with them yourself. When we reach footfall, I'll help your associates. I look forward to that day, Shireen, and praise be to the Exalted One for bestowing such a miserly portion of haughty indifference upon your heart. Ignatius. Heinrich gives you a curt nod in greeting. I apologize for barging in unannounced. I have received news that I must discuss with you face to face. Yeah, it sounds like the Inquisition's got a lot going on, and I am all for helping. So just tell me how I can help. You may recall that I mentioned that Achilles, Heinrich pauses before continuing, that Achilles Scalander was transferred into my remit by a colleague. The colleague in question has contacted me. She requires my immediate assistance. Who is this colleague? How did you circumvent me and acquire the information from the astropathic message? It's a fair question. Who is this colleague? Heinrich hesitates for a moment before answering. Emelina Leichenthart, sage to the Lord Inquisitor. Tell me more about Emelina. Who is she? An acolyte who was assigned a different range of objectives in the Koronus Expanse. Heinrich trails off, then shakes his head. Don't take me. I'm still trying to hide information from you, even when I'm asking for your help. Emelina is a sage, a unique acolyte of the Inquisition who can absorb huge amounts of knowledge and store it in her own memory more securely than any data crypt. She entered the Lord Inquisitor's retinue before even I did. Talking to her is a strange experience, but that is barely scratching the surface of who she is. Emelina is an incredible scholar and an expert on the forbidden and the illicit, and of course, she is a loyal servant to the Golden Throne. You say talking to her is a strange experience. What does that mean? Heinrich locks his fingers and says nothing for a few seconds. Since birth, Emelina has been different from other people. Specialists from the Inquisition enhanced her natural gift of hypermnesia. There are certain procedures that can be done. She creates separate blocks of memory, which she can then lock under a code word or even overwrite with new information. She can organize her mind like a normal person arranges boxes on a shelf. One box might contain information about a recent mission in the Calixus. Another, the latest decrees of the Lex Imperialis, and another, her own childhood memories. This level of compartmentalization might seem somewhat insane to the untrained eye, but it is the price one must pay to turn an ordinary servant into a useful tool of the Inquisition. You said the forbidden and the illicit. What does that entail? Emelina carries knowledge that is forbidden to common servants of the Imperium. She carries this knowledge within herself, as it cannot be entrusted to logs or cogitators. Heinrich frowns. I said before that acolytes of the Inquisition must shoulder a heavy burden, to come into contact with things that can penetrate and corrupt the soul. For sages, this is an especially trying ordeal. Emelina's hypermnesia has been enhanced so that she now remembers everything she sees, however briefly. After many years of service, she has examined and seen enough to become an unrivaled expert in this field. So she has dabbled or seen lots of heretical things, whether chaos or xeno, and she'll never forget it. It's just always there in her mind. That's dangerous. You speak of her with obvious affection. Heinrich's eyebrows lifts. Emelina is a worthy acolyte and an invaluable tool in the Inquisition's arsenal. I admire her talents and traits. Your influence has made Heinrich more callous. I don't know when I accomplished that, but I've seen it a few times. I'm wondering if that hadn't happened, would he admit to having feelings for her or something? You failed to mention Calcadar's other agents operating the Koronus Expanse. I mean, that's not terribly surprising. Still ask it. I didn't fail to mention it. I deliberately concealed the information. Divulging the location of the Inquisition's agents could threaten not only the Acolytes themselves, but also the results of their endeavors. I mean, we have been hanging out with various heretical people, from a unsanctioned psyker to actual xenos. I don't question him for not giving me directions to where all the Inquisition's agents are. That would be just madness. I believe I have a clear picture of Emelina now. What was her message? Emily's message is incomplete and distorted. It is impossible to make sense of every word. The only thing we know for certain is that an acolyte of the Inquisition is asking me to go immediately to Phaeton 4, a remote planet. In her message, she seems to be requesting either military support or help with an evacuation. But whatever precipitated this request, Emelina would not make it if it wasn't absolutely necessary. I know Rogue Trader has more than enough other matters to deal with. Nevertheless, I would like to officially request the Lord Captain's assistance in dealing with this issue. Heinrich inclines his head. I have no authority to demand anything from House von Valencius, therefore I am confining myself to a request, for the sake of the Koronus Expanse and the Imperium. How did you circumvent me and acquire this information from the astropathic message? The interrogator's eyebrows lift. Lord Captain, the Rogue Trader may be in a position to challenge the Inquisition's authority over their soul, mind, and actions, but a Rogue Trader's astropaths and box officers? Hardly. So, he just told our astropath that if anything came in for inquisitorial channels, he demanded it go to him instead. Fair. Any hint of what exactly is threatening Phaeton 4? I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that. PHT, Phaeton. Heinrich says nothing for a time, then begins to speak, slowly as though he is fighting against resistance. For the avoidance of leaks, the details of the objective of specific acolytes shall remain a secret. All I can tell you is that the primary threat that Emelina was dealing with in the Koronus Expanse was xenos, and particularly Drukhari raids on distant systems. A sage is ideally suited for gathering data about the chronology of this problem and finding appropriate methods for combating it. Was she the one who had figured out where the Drukhari were next going to attack and was then telling Achilles? Is that how we were getting our info? As for what Emelina is doing on Phaeton 4, specifically, I don't know. I don't even know any details about the world itself, only that there are humans there, so either it has been colonized or a garrison has been established there. The Cult of the Final Dawn has been my top priority here, and my investigation has given me no cause to turn my attention to that planet. If I help you, what do I get out of it? No, we're going to help him. We don't need to ask for bribes or whatever. Are you certain that you are asking for my help for the sake of the Imperium and not because one of your own is in trouble? I don't like that question either. I shall help you. We shall go to Phaeton 4 and put an end to this threat. Heinrich bows. Thank you, Lord Captain. I am confident that this minor deviation from our primary course will help to stem the spread of anarchy in the Koronus Expanse. If only slightly, at the very least, we won't be outflanked. I have already spoken to the navigation crew and provided them with the coordinates of Phaeton 4. We can set course for it as soon as you give the order. Enough of xenos. Justice will be done, one way or another. Heinrich's voice drips with venom. Yeah, that's not a great start to this. Slither all you like, heretic spawn, but you will never leave this ship unscathed. The bridge is enveloped in an unusual silence. The officers on duty are huddling in the corners, looking on curiously at what is transpiring in the center. Heinrich, what punishment awaits him who failed to realize his own acolyte was a traitor? What's going on? Saint's blood, what manner of farce is this? Or observe silently. Heinrich, what punishment awaits him who failed to realize his own acolyte was a traitor? We're gonna say it. I still think Heinrich is in the wrong, and that Ilia did help us. The fact that our whole retinue came for this moment to see her get killed is funny because Marjai is in this group. But yeah, Heinrich, you're wrong. Your guy did turn. It was Marjai's fault. If you want to kill him, I'm not going to fight you overly hard. But Irliet saved the Inquisition. Upon hearing your words, the interrogator stiffens and he grits his teeth in anger. Achilles died after receiving due punishment, even if it was not at the hands of the Inquisition. I will hear no more about it. Catching sight of you, the curious crew members dash to their posts, leaving only the senior officers in the middle of the bridge. For how long are you going to tolerate this filth on your ship, Ignatius? This foul traitor who has already dragged you into the darkness once and who almost left your protectorate without its sovereign. Rogue traitor. Heinrich's voice makes your blood run cold. Has Eldari heresy clouded your judgment? Treachery always means death, either for the traitor or the one betrayed. You almost died in Camorra. Your retinue. You know what became of them. Is it not high time that justice was done? Those present nod wordlessly, but do not dare to interfere. Now this is a fine spectacle. The Inhuman gets what she deserves. Let us all watch and laugh. Your wonderful path has led you into a rather thorny situation, cousin. You refused to beg for mercy in Camorra, and now you will have to lick the boots of a Monkey. Silence, Zeno. Your turn will come. His turn should be coming first. Like, he was the one who tortured Achilles to break him into betrayal. She was the one who... I get that they're talking about her betraying us, which got us taken to Camorra. But it's like, again, Marjai was the one who set that all in motion. The fact they're so focused on her, and maybe it's because she's been in our retinue all this time, so they're more familiar with her. So they're like, oh yeah, of course the Drukhari was guilty of setting a trap. Everyone expects that of them. The fact that he's on the ship now, we'll deal with. But she's been with us for ages. Should have been... Like, if she was a honest member of our crew that we could trust, which they're never going to agree to, then there shouldn't have been a point where she did betray us. So since she did, I get where they're coming from. Irliet does not react to the curses being slung at her. With an impenetrable expression, she watches the crowd before her, then turns her gaze to you. Anyone else want to share their thoughts? I think we may have forgotten who gives the orders on this ship. How dare you burst on the bridge and make demands of me? Irliet is here to stay as part of my retinue. Get used to it. It's a fair statement I might end up using. Irliet will now apologize to everyone who was harmed by her deed, and that will be enough. They will hate that. That all she has to do is apologize. It will receive corporal punishment, as many lashes as her body can endure without expiring. Give Irliet to Heinrichs. Do me a favor, Heinrichs. Would you be so kind, Sister Agenta, Executor, Cabela, Executor, or Executor myself? Anyone else want to share their thoughts? You know, Lord Captain, I will support any order you give, but to keep the Xenos in the retinue, especially after everything. Everyone casts a tense look at the lower bridge. After everything that has transpired because of her, it would not be wise. The enemies of humanity have no place among humans. You know this. Cassia's hands shake a little as she clenches her fist. But death is far too merciful a sentence. What I endured was far more terrible. I assumed Cassia would be more likely to be on our side, because she can see the state of her heart. And yeah, you went through terrible things, sure. But you can tell, like, Cassia could state that she doesn't see any desire to manipulate us or turn on us or anything. The heinous behavior patterns of the Xeno entity and of specimens similar to her statistically leads to unfavorable and unpredictable outcomes. Irliet blankly surveys the crowd. Literally, my entire retinue wants her dead. I guess there's a few people missing. Jai isn't here. Dari isn't here. Yeah. It's mainly just the dogmatic and Abelard, who always feels dogmatic to me, and it's weird that he's iconoclast. I guess he's kind of iconoclast, but he feels very dogmatic as well. And then Marjai is here just to watch the fun. None of these are good options. I guess a lot of them are good options, but none of them are going to appease everyone. Like, I could just go, I'm in charge, I make the rules. Which is kind of what 1 and 2 are. I'm going to go with 1. It's a bold statement, but I am, even at this point, officially the rogue trader. There was a while there that I was sort of just acting in place, but we've gone through the ceremony. I'm the rogue trader on this ship. They're all part of my retinue. I think you've forgotten who gives orders on this ship. How dare you burst onto the bridge and make demands of me? Heinrich narrows his eyes, disappointed. Deplorable indulgence of the enemies of humanity, rogue trader, and of your own weak will. The one who points out a mistake shall be rewarded for the truth, but if you do not wish to see the truth, remain among the blind. Yeah. Everyone present timidly averts their eyes. Speaking up against you definitely was not part of the plan. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have gone with that option. Possibly I should have just gone with the she's part of my retinue or she'll apologize. Just to be slightly nicer, but I think the end result would be the same. Where they're all going to just be pissed at me because they just wanted to see her dead. I don't think there was an outcome where I could have said anything that would have appeased them. Are you alright? I would never have left you at their mercy. If you shared with them what you shared with me and Kimura, they would surely understand your actions. Maybe they will forgive you. Not all of them, and not right away, but they will. I like that statement. Do you really not care about what happened, or are you trying to conceal your true feelings again? Are you alright? Elit shrugs uncertainly. Your monkey have had it worse. I will live, and the wounds of my soul will eventually heal. They will live too, but their souls will forever bleed painful memories. If you shared with them what you shared with me and Kimura, they would surely have understood your actions. Elit shakes her head. Those words were meant only for you, Alantok. You are the only one I can trust with my feelings. Only to you can I bear my mental wounds. We have a special history and a special bond, Ignatius. I do not care about the others. They will forgive you, not all of them, and not right away, but they will. Stop it. You cannot believe that, Alantok. I do not need words of comfort. The words of these monkey do not touch my soul. Only your thoughts matter, yours and mine. I don't know what we're referring to in this. Do you really not care about what happened? Are we asking about us being captured? Or I don't know. I'm going to ask it just to get more dialogue, but depending on what we're referring to here, this could come off very harsh. Because she has already stated that she does have strong feelings about everything and how it all took place. I am sorry that my mistake led anyone along paths to the Dark City. I can see their plan and rage. I understand. But words and pity will not help them. Only time, and perhaps revenge, which will dull their pain for a little while. But you have taken away their chance for revenge, Alantok, and all we can do now is wait. I would have never left you at their mercy. Elit smiles slightly. Of course not. You are you. Well, it's time to get back to work. Do not leave yet, Alantok. Before you do, answer my question. I know we have talked a great deal, and you have even accepted what I did, but I also know that the mind and the emotions are not always in accordance. Now that the raging waves of danger have died down, and Kimura has been left far behind, what are your thoughts of me? To be honest, I don't know. I only know that everyone makes mistakes and everyone hides the parts of their personalities they are not proud of. That is true of both humans and Eldari. A fair statement. You have already become part of my world. You may have done something disagreeable in my eyes, but that does not make you a stranger. The past stay in the past. I only know that everyone makes mistakes and everyone hides the parts of their personalities they are not proud of. That is true of both humans and Eldari. I wish I could argue otherwise. A short laugh escapes Irliet's lips. But I made a mistake, and I concealed my feelings and emotions from you. Perhaps you have done the same, but as long as we walk the same road, we have a chance to become better than we were before. Irliet nods and gestures elegantly before leaving. Until we meet again, Elentok, may the darkness scatter into a myriad of new stars before you. Oh, I finally have freedom to move around on my own. Let's do a quick pass talking to some people. As you approach, Vigdis pulls away from the fine-tuning another Vox and bows her head. Lord Captain, the ships inform me of our imminent meeting. Have the Vox spirits brought anything interesting lately? Perhaps you'd be interested in a Vox transmission. We've asked this so many times and there's never been anything. She finally has something interesting that would catch our attention. Perhaps you would be interested in a Vox transmission I intercepted not long ago, Lord Captain. The thoroughly encrypted message contained the coordinates of a landing site on a certain planet marked as rare cargo. I've not been able to uncover anything else, but I believe the encryption was intended for those who are involved in unsanctioned trade activities. A multitude of scouts ships tirelessly explore the Expanse in search of new resource deposits, but unfortunately not all of them represent the interests of the von Valencius dynasty. I occasionally intercept Vox transmissions from ships prowling in your domain in search of easy loot. An asteroid the size of a small planet has been discovered in the Soto's tomb system, and the prospectors believe that there may be a wealth of resources hidden under the crust. And the last item for today, a few pilgrims from Footfall who were graciously welcomed aboard have been filling the cruise minds with tales of a world of the Ascended. They say that prayers on a world near the cold star Cineris Maleficum have not ceased for several hundred years. They claim that the God Emperor himself chose this planet and raised all its people to his halls. Vigdis coughs over the Vox system's grinding. We have suppressed these rumors to ensure the crew are not distracted from their vital tasks, but perhaps you might decide to visit the planet, given its unusual reputation. That'll be all for now. I live to serve, Lord Captain. Let's actually talk to Danrock, our high factotum. He said he had things to talk about. The high factotum Janus Danrock greets you with a cool smile and the merest hint of a bow. Pleasure to see you, Lord Captain. How may I be of assistance? I wish to hear about the Protectorate, to keep apprised of things. We discovered a world that is home to a long-abandoned colony founded centuries ago by one of your predecessors. The ship was sent there carrying several thousand colonists who were to restore the derelict settlement. After the ship entered the system, after the ship entered its system of destination, contact was lost with it, and its fate remains unknown. Perhaps you might like to investigate the disappearance of that vessel personally. In addition to that, your lordship, pirates have presented a serious problem to your domain. For centuries, a group of bandits headed by a ship called the Enclave Contempt, or the Elusive Contempt, have been raiding cargo vessels on their way from the Protectorate's most plentiful extractia. Their ability to deftly escape pursuit by patrols has allowed them to operate with complete impunity. The pirates' flagship has been spotted in a nearby system. Your system, Lord Captain, is sufficiently powerful to finally chase down your ship, Lord Captain, is sufficiently powerful to finally chase down those brazen scoundrels and bring them to justice. The Ashbathic Choir has received a series of alarming messages concerning the Namar 4 system, where a dangerous space anomaly has supposedly manifested itself. Its nature is unknown, but the fabric of space within the system is reported to be curved and unstable. It is said that any ship entering the region disappears without a trace. I believe we ought to be prudent and steer clear of that system. Oh, we're definitely investigating it. The factotum hesitates as if unsure that what he has to say is worthy of your attention. There is something else, Lord Captain. The ship's astropaths have caught echoes of alarming messages. Unidentified ships abandoned by their crews have been spotted in several systems of the Expanse. It may only be a rumor, but those who encountered them have gone missing. That is all, your lordship. Enough questions. I shall await your instructions, Lord Captain. Alright. I think this is where I'm going to call the stream today. It's a few minutes earlier than we would normally end, but I think it's fine. It's a reasonable stopping point. Next time, we're going to start out with probably talking to our entire crew. maybe even going to some of the other compartments and talking to some people in there, just to see anything that might have happened on the ship during this time. And then we'll finally head out and see what's changed on the Koronus Expanse map. But that's for next time. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you then. Bye.